This is a 2025 Ram 3500 Limited. And in this video, we're going to talk about some of the cost cutting that Ram has done. I borrowed this truck from Larry H. Miller, Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram here in Sandy, Utah. This truck is available for sale. Let's go ahead and check out the window sticker so you guys can see options and features on this build. At the very top is the description. So this is a long bed. Base price for this is $77,950. And here's a short listing of the standard equipment. Be sure to pause. Starting off the options is the metallic paint for $295, fifth wheel and gooseneck towing prep group for $545, night edition is $1995, tow technology plus group is $895, limited level 1 equipment group $44.95, and the high output sunroof, clearance lamps, 50-gallon fuel tank, and dual alternators. Destination comes in at $1995 with a total price of $102,845. For 2025, this truck did see a $375 price increase. Now, YouTube is like one of the greatest things, because with all these YouTubers out here doing these videos, the reason why I show you guys the window stickers is because I want you guys to always go back and watch my old videos. I did this on purpose. The last 2024 Ram that I reviewed was identical to this. The reason why I did that is because I saw this truck coming in and I saw what they had in inventory, and it says I gotta do a video on this truck just in case people miss this. So yes, not a big price increase. $375. You got the high output standard now. This is actually a good deal until you start adding options. So yes, when you add the night edition did go down for 2025. That's good news, right? However, limited level 1 equipment group was $1,950 last year. For 2025, it's literally what? Double the cost of this truck. I mean, or a little bit more than double, really. But they made Harman Kardon standard. So I don't understand why they did that. I mean, you know, I love you, Ram, but I gotta pick on you sometimes. You know, you are one of my favorite HDs, but that was silly. I think that they should have kept the price very close. So this truck basically cost $2 grand more than the outgoing, in that ballpark. And as I said, cost cutting, they did that for 2025. So on this Limited, you guys can see these headlights now are the exact same ones you can get on a Laramie. In the video I said Bighorn, but I meant Laramie. It used to be Limited and Longhorn got premium LED headlights. Now Laramie gets them. I said Bighorn again by mistake. So why would they do that? Again, they're actually able to save money not having two different headlight designs, because even Tradesman now has LED headlights standard, although they are a reflective style. But nevertheless, it is what it is. I do still like this truck, and with granite crystal with blackout, I just did a video on a Laramie and I said the same thing. It's really a nice setup. You have that painted grille surround, painted bumpers, you have the gloss black on this grille. I feel as though they did cut costs on this, but I'm not going to talk about this yet. This is just something I think some people who've owned these trucks in the past will see. You do have that camera with the radar or adaptive cruise control standard. That camera's not standard, however, it's a part of that limited level 1 equipment group. On the top trim, GMC don't do that to you though, just saying. And you guys can see these bottom projectors are your low and high beams. Okay. Reflective style LED fog lights, which are the best in the business. And this sensor kind of does go off to the side to help protect. I love the fact that you have fender flares. Solid front axle on this one. You guys can see that sway bar right there. Nothing really changes on the suspension for the most part. That's groundbreaking. And then here are the tires. Now these are new tires. They are the AT2s, so they were just the regular Transverse ATs last year. 285, 60, 20, and this is basically 33.5 inches tall, 11.2 inches wide, so they are a little bit smaller for stock tires compared to Ford and GM. Now these wheels are new design. I like this wheel design personally. I think it looks great. And then here's a nice side view of the truck with the long bed. Looks pretty good. Has the power deployable running boards. And here are the mirrors. Sport Performance hood does come part of the Night Edition package. Smart key system. And I like how thin they make these running boards, by the way, too. Now, in case you want to see down below, no skid plate for that transfer case, although that is available as an option. 50-gallon fuel tank. Why would you get a long bed 110 without that? It is an option, and it's very cheap compared to aftermarket options on the market too. Here's where we're gonna fill up at. They did increase the size of the DEF tank from 5.7 to 7.5 gallons. Also, here's your leaf pack. So you have 4 leaves in the main. There's no overloads, and this is going to be a helper spring here. Now, I've heard online that you can no longer get air suspension with single rear wheels, so I'll have to verify that at some point. And look how beefed up that frame is compared to the 3/4 tons. Liner out back is finished in plastic, and this does have the full LED taillights. Has that limited badge. I like the big Ram badge. Some people say it's tacky. I think it looks great. It's a truck, it's supposed to be tacky. Here's your 12-way plug for camera, 7-pin plug for your trailer, LED license plate lights, class 5er, and 342 rear. Also, if you don't know this, if you get a 3500 1-ton, the anti-slip, which is an LSD, does come standard, and they just give you a donut style for your spare. It's a Transforce HT2. But yeah, pretty overbuilt suspension, I would say, out back. By the way, they do give you this for your rear view mirror. There is a light down here, that camera, assisted tailgate. Every truck so far that I've seen this year has had this. I've yet to find one without it. 5th wheel prep package. They give you another 12-way and 7-pin, 400 watts of power. There is 2 kilowatts available. I like that they still give you the 400 watt plug. Ford screws you over if you don't get that 2 kilowatts for like, what is it, like $9.85? At least Ram gives it to you in the bed, at the very least 400 watts, which is still enough for most people. You have 2 cameras up here, power sliding glass with defrost, and you have 2 tie downs on each side of the bed too. And here's a side view. I had someone yesterday mention they love my commentary I do under the hood, and they said that sometimes they just skip to this part of the video because they want to see what I'm going to say about it. Thank you for giving me that pressure, and I appreciate that. But yes, this is an all new block, believe it or not. Even though it's the same displacement, new block, this engine takes in more air, so it does have larger intake and exhaust valves, as well as a new performance intake manifold. Ram's words, not mine. So yes, there is a lot more air coming into this engine, and therefore they did increase the horsepower without increasing the boost. Also, you guys see this right here? They did add a sensor here to really measure how much airflow to maximize performance as well. There's no longer a grid heater, so they now use glow plugs. So that's another upgrade that they've done. They also went back to a cast iron block, skipping the compacted graphite iron, which was lighter. So this truck did get heavier, which means you have less payload, because they did not increase the GVWR on these trucks, okay? But 430 horsepower, 1,075 pound-feet of torque is what comes out of this engine. All that power goes to a new ZF 8-speed transmission. I think that Ram hit the nail on the head. They didn't get crazy with power and torque because they want a reliable platform. Now, I'm pretty sure when they do a complete redesign on this truck, you're probably gonna see 500 horsepower plus and more torque than the Ford's current Power Stroke high output. You guys see right here, this one does have the dual alternator, so one is there. They're pretty much in the exact same spots as last year's, and then one's right below. You probably can see it better right there. And yeah, serviceability is a little bit better because they give you the oil style canister here, and they have dual fuel filters right there. I can't really see. Oh, there you go. I can see now. So they're right there, 1, 2. And so those are under the hood. I'll have Josh probably do a video. Maybe we can pull the truck in and undo those to see how easy it is to get those off, get the filters out. And yeah, that should be helpful for those who are buying these trucks and want to do the maintenance themselves. Inside, Limited is still one of the best interiors. And at this price point, they are cheaper than Ford. However, they are still more expensive than GMC and of course Chevy. But if you're okay with this smaller cab, then all is well, because they have probably the best seats in the game. Wide seat cushion here, great bolstering. So these seats fit big and small people alike. They give you tilt headrest standard on every trim level. And the overall design with the stitching is amazing. So let's talk about that. I almost forgot about that. This cost cutting. So yes, they did do some cost cutting with this interior. So when it comes down to it, I think that this is probably one of the biggest setbacks for the Limited trim, because you get suede with Laramie, but they give you this cloth insert here. And even though it doesn't really matter, it's the fact that this truck costs $375 more when you consider base. And when you add options, it can exceed $2,000. So my first point was obviously the headlights, right? They did do some cost cutting there. Secondly, are these seats. These seats are literally, you know, a downgrade compared to what we had just last year, because they were full leather. And this is real leather seats, as well as real wood trim. And you can feel how porous it is too. But they still give you a lot of soft touch leather. Great stitch pattern here. More soft touch, although down below on the door, it is just hard plastic. Great design for the Harman Kardon speaker grille. Now, you cannot get the tungsten for this year, but technically I think Longhorn is considered a top trim now. Let's go ahead and check out the passenger side. They do leather wrap the dash. You see more of that wood, 12-volt power plug, more of that stitch pattern, Harman Kardon speaker up there. Leather wrapping for the grab handles, just not in the rear. Now let's talk about this guy here for a second. This is your passenger screen. Now I know some people in the comment section are gonna say that this is not a good feature, it's, you know, a waste of money and time, whatever they want to say. That is totally incorrect. I'm gonna relate to my full-time RVers out there. Have you ever gone through Montana in those really remote areas, or Wyoming, North Dakota, wherever, pulling your 40-foot fifth wheel, your phone doesn't work, and now you have to rely on your navigation? What Ram did was they gave us a way for us to continue on the road without having to pull over with our big fifth wheel, which is sometimes hard to do. You can jump over here to navigation and bam, now you can literally put in the address on this side as you're driving down the road, and everyone's cool, everyone's calm. This is a huge advantage. I have been there, I've dealt with this, and trust me, my phone didn't work for almost an hour one time when we were in Montana. So having the navigation on the truck was a game changer. So yes, this is a huge advantage, because if you want to put an address in on this side, you can do that. You can also add wireless phones, so if you don't want to listen to the music that the driver's listening to, you have that as well. You can also brighten up the screen, and it looks nice. It gives this truck a more upscale look. I have to admit to you, I am tired of the bigger screens. Like when they have a huge screen, I think that it does take away from the interior. I have to admit now, I don't like the bigger screens. Like I'm starting to be like you older heads out there who feel that way. Now I'm starting to see it in my own self. Like, wow, I don't think I want any more bigger screen than this. This is probably as big as you need to go. But some are going to 50-inch screens, right? Glove box is down here. Also, you have this Limited badge. And while I'm over here, I'm just gonna show the screen really quickly. So you have navigation, you have split screen. You can move things around on this menu here. You have your trailer brake with the gain on the screen. This is something I would not want. You have your tow haul, dual stage exhaust, front and rear parking sensors. You have 4 USBs for this screen. You can also hook up 2 phones. So if you go to device manager here, you can have 2 active phones on Apple CarPlay. No other manufacturer does that. from the other two, basically. So Chevy, GMC, Ford, they don't give you 2 active phones. You have dual chargers too. So again, on that long trip, 4 or 5 hours, having your phone hooked up to USBs, it's going to fast charge your phones. This trickle charges it so it doesn't burn up your battery. And that's what's nice about this here, is it just slowly charges. By the way, you do have a 115 volt power plug here. These 2 USBs are just for charging, by the way, and then this HDMI, if you do hook up something to watch a show on this side, you have that option as well. Here is the center armrest with cup holders with more wood. Let's go ahead and jump back to the rear. More of that cloth insert, and you can see a little bit better on the back of the seat here. Outboard heated seats, 4 USBs, 115 volt power plug, air vents. They do give you a armrest right there. And this does flip out for a platform. You can see those cup holders on the floor there. And they do give you this light that does shine down when the seat is in this position. Oh yeah, do not add all of the floor mats. If you want to buy these after the fact, I don't think you can. At least when I bought my truck, these were not available to purchase. And if someone's selling them used, they're like $600 or $700. So never get all of the floor mats with the limited, because basically that's what these are, because these carpets do come out. And if I did not explain that good enough for you, what I'm saying is when you add all of the floor mats, they delete those if I'm not saying it correctly. So just keep that in mind. A little bit of storage on this side. The subwoofers on that side. And by the way, they have the best sounding system in my opinion. And there's just a little bit more storage right there. One thing I noticed when I was driving over here, when I put the signal on, you do have an option to turn on your signals, and notice how quickly they go away when you click it back. They go away instantly. GM does something similar when you have a trailer hooked up, but it stays up for too long, like go away. But you can hit an X, but Ram does it the right way. It goes away quickly. Thank you, Ram, very smart. You can turn on your auto dimming mirror if you like. Dashboard, you can hook up to 4 trailers. Shows you your trailer tire pressure, some of your temperature gauges. If you go under setup, I will try to bring out my trailer soon to see if we can get this to work. And no 4-wheel drive auto. Adaptive cruise control, you have your gear limiter. This controls the screen. We'll push this button here. Brings up this quick menu. And you can go through all your gauges on this screen. Really nice stuff. Let's go ahead and check out the payload. I feel like I've spent more than enough time on this truck here. And I'm going to do a lot more videos, so there's no need for me to hit everything in every video. Gross axle weight rating out front is going to be 6,000 pounds. The rear is 7,000 pounds. Gross vehicle weight rating is going to be 12,300 pounds. None of those numbers changed. 20 by 8 wide wheels, and all in payload 3,604 pounds. 65 psi out front, 80 psi in the rear. So that payload did go down, and that's in part to the cast iron block, because this transmission is slightly lighter compared to the Eisen transmission. I figured I'd show you guys the rear and the sun there. But you know, we all pick on Ram, but then we all will say, and I'm included, I'm not picking on anybody else, we will all say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But now Ram's like, well, we're doing what you tell us to do. You say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So they haven't fixed their cabin in like what, 15 years. So but yeah, I think this is one of the best trucks. It will get the job done, and for the most part, I think that this is going to be the most reliable platform. GM was having their issues, you know, with their transmissions, with their oil coolers blowing up basically and putting oil into the coolant. And Ford, I mean, Ford's doing pretty good, I would say, but they're still rolling with that CP4. This truck has a CP8. I keep forgetting to mention that. This truck does have a CP8. And I don't know anything about it, so I don't talk about it until I can get some specs on it. By the way, too, I didn't mention this. They still wrap this in leather. The other trim levels, like Laramie down, they give you this ugly plastic now. So yeah, this is so much nicer. But yeah, I'm done talking. Leave your comments down below. I do read your comments, by the way. I just don't respond because I don't have the capacity. I'm super busy, and I do at least like them, the ones I do like, and the ones I don't like, I just leave you alone. Later.